Good evening from BATV Sports. We're broadcasting from the Tappan Street Pool, and I'm Andrea Calso, bringing you coverage of girls varsity swim, Brookline versus Dedham. Tonight's meet is our second to last meet of the season, and it's our last home meet for Brookline. So at the end of the meet, we'll be bringing you some special coverage of a senior farewell. There's a couple fun races to keep an eye out today. Brookline's looking to get a state qualifying time in the 100 fly. They've actually qualified in every other event except this one. This is the first time in years that they've gotten close, so we're going to keep a close eye on that. We also have a couple exciting races from the Dedham side. They're looking for qualifying times in the 50 free, the 200 free relay, and the 100 back. We're going to kick things off tonight with the 200 medley relay.
Hard today when he does get the ball, and he's going to take it for over the court, and your point.
Starting things off tonight, we have the girls varsity 200 medley relay. Swimming in lane 1 from Brookline, we have Michelle Coe, Madeline Emmerich, Darcy Perry, and Iana Mang. In lane 2 from Dedham, Maddie Brown, Christina Palioglu, Maddie Curran, and Allie Johnson. In lane 3 from Brookline, we have Judy Liu, Sarah Gladstone, Valentina Rojas, and Daniela Cruz. Swimming in lane 4 from Dedham, we have Roisin Glynn, Asia Vo, Jennifer Guccione, and Elizabeth Doherty. And in lane 5 from Brookline, Fiona Burns, Sonia Bond, Courtney Carroll, and Maya Biglek. So this is a 4-person relay team. Each girl swims 2 laps, 1 of each stroke. The order is backstroke, breaststroke, butterfly, and freestyle. So going into the second half of the breaststroke leg, we are neck and neck in lanes 3 and 4. That's Brookline and Dedham. It's interesting to see with this race, backstroke and breaststroke legs often go head and head, but you'll start to see sometimes one team will pull ahead in the butterfly, so we'll see if any of those teams can get the edge in this third leg. Looks like the swimmers entered almost at the same time. So in a race like this, we really want to keep an eye out for not only what team can get the advantage at each stroke, but also how the teams work their turns, work their relay exchanges. In a short race like this, those exchanges and those turns are the most critical points in gaining those extra hair lengths of a second. So we're still neck and neck going into the final leg. This is freestyle in lanes 3 and 4. Those swimmers in Brookline, Daniela Cruz, and in lane 4 for Dedham, that's Elizabeth Doherty. And it looks like Brookline's taking a slight edge after the turn. Gonna be pulling those flags about half a body length ahead. And she will be touching first with a time of 2:06.04 for Brookline in lane 3, the girls 200 medley relay. And just to give you a little context for that time for Brookline, that time qualifies the team for girls state. Qualifying time they needed to reach was a 2:07, and they are well under that. And our next event is the first heat of the 200 freestyle. Swimming in lane 1 for Brookline, we have Julia Terry. In lane 2, Danielle Lech. In lane 3, Emily Bivens. Lane 4, Michael Solinsky. Swimming in lane 5 is Emily Lasanti. And in lane 6, Rachel Kana. 200 free is a mid-distance event, and swimmers who do well in this event can usually find a good balance between speed and endurance. It's not an event that you can really pace yourself. You have to go pretty hard for 8 laps, all freestyle. So a key to doing well in this race is long, powerful strokes and a hard kick. We'll see later in the 500 free, which is a much longer distance. The pacing is usually a little bit different, but in both races, all the swimmers benefit from powerful turns. You have 7 flip turns in this race, so it's really crucial to push off hard, get a lot of time under the water and streamline. At the half, lanes 3, 4, and 5 are pretty close. It seems after that most recent flip turn, lane 5, that's Brookline's Emily Lasante, is pulled out a little bit ahead of her 2 competitors. A lot of swimmers in this race also have to keep an eye on their breathing and their stroke count in order to really maximize their turns. Not to take that breath after the turn, but to really get a strong push off, get that little edge. And it looks like lane 5 continues to hold her lead. Going into the final lap, lane 4 is catching up. Flip turns first. That's Michael Solinsky from Dedham, and it looks like he might finish first if he can hold this lead that he's gained in the final 50. Lanes 3 and 5, neck and neck. And lane 4 will finish first with a time of 2:49.86. Sorry, it looks like there's a glitch on the scoreboard, so we won't be able to give you an official time on lane 4. You'll notice there's a couple ways to track timing in swimming. You'll see the touch pads on the wall. We also have backup timers by the lanes that give us a manual time. So in the event that there's a glitch, we'll sometimes rely on those stopwatches to get our official times. Up next is Heat 2 of the Girls 200 Freestyle. This is an all Brookline heat. All right, we're going into Heat 2, the 200 Freestyle. This is an all Brookline heat. Swimming in lane 1, we have Emma Bowe. In lane 3, Yana Meng. And in lane 5, Annie Chang. So we were talking a little bit about 200 freestyle strategy. Another thing to point out is that a lot of swimmers judge their pace and their swim on split time. So they'll actually break down their race into 50s, which is 2 laps. And what they'll try to do is they'll do a negative split, meaning their last 2 50s of their race or their last half of their race, they'll try to do faster than the first 2. So a race like this, the idea is to go strong, but to also build momentum. It's almost like an 8-lap sprint. Going into the half, girls are pretty evenly matched, but it looks like lane 3 has a slight edge to her competitors, and that's Yana Meng. in lane 3 holds her position out in front, but a little less than a half a body length going into the final 50 of this 200 freestyle race. Lane 5's pulling ahead in our last turn. She will finish first with a time of 2:42.40. Up next, we have the girls 200 individual medley. Swimming in lane 1 for Brookline is Audrey Stitt. In lane 2, we have Rachel Barkowitz. In lane 3, Valentina Rojas. Lane 4, Roisin Glynn. In lane 3, that was Sarah Gladstone. Lane 5 is Valentina Rojas. And in lane 6 is Christina Paliglo. This is another one of those grueling mid-distance races. Key difference with this race to what we just saw in the freestyle is we see a 50, which is 2 laps of each stroke in the order of butterfly, backstroke, breaststroke, freestyle. And one of the key strategies is to really work your assets. So when a swimmer has a strength, say backstroke or breaststroke, they'll conserve their energy somewhat in order to really build momentum on their strong stroke. Going into the backstroke, we've got lanes 3 and 4 neck and neck. Lane 5 not too far behind. You'll notice all of these swimmers are high on top of the water, great body rotation. Both are really key for a fast backstroke. With this particular stroke, you really want to just glide on top of the water. You'll notice their heads are pretty still. The rotation comes from the midline of the body, from the waist, and that really helps to propel the body forward, get a really efficient stroke. Turning into the breaststroke. Lane 4, lane 3, still neck and neck. Lane 3 is really working hard and pulling ahead. Looks like she's gonna touch first into that turn. She's setting herself up well for a final 50 free. Breaststroke is often the hardest leg of this race. It's the slowest stroke. It comes just before the end. You've used a lot of energy getting through the butterfly, trying to kind of pick things up and get a rhythm in the backstroke. But the freestyle is where it all comes down. You have to leave everything in the pool. Quick, hard strokes, a lot of kicking. Lane 3 is doing a good job of keeping her edge going into the final lap of this race. And going into the finish, that will be lane 3 from Brookline, touching first. That's Sarah Gladstone with a time of 2:27.49. Lane 4 not too far behind her with a time of 2:28.92. Both girls finished well below the girls' state qualifying time. That qualifying time is 2:30.44. So well done, both teams. Up next is the girls 50 freestyle. This is the first of 5 heats. Swimming in lane 1 from Brookline is Michaela Swartz. In lane 2 from Dedham, Jen Guccione. In lane 3, that's Thea Charles Moon. In lane 4, Elizabeth Doherty. Lane 5, Yudi Liu. And in lane 6, Jacob Putnam. It's a quick race going into the final lap. And in lane 4, that's Elizabeth Doherty. She's going for a time of 27.1 to qualify for the States. So we'll see if she can make it in under that time. And she finishes first with a time of 27:30. This is our second heat of the girls 50 freestyle. Swimming in lane 1 from Brookline, that's Courtney Carroll. In lane 2, we have Maddie Brown. In lane 3, that's Fiona Burns. Lane 4, Maddie Curran. And in lane 5, Sonia Bond from Brookline. So there's 2 really important aspects to this race, the start and the flip turn. The 2 fastest ways to get in the pool, get off the wall, and get speed over your competitors. You see almost all of those swimmers take at least 1 stroke before breathing. It helps keep momentum off the wall and have a powerful finish going into the second lap of this race. And finishing in lane 1 from Brookline with a time of 28:72, it's Courtney Carroll. Going into heat 3 of the girls 50 freestyle, we have, this is an all Brookline heat. In lane 1, we have Emma Bowe. In lane 2, Olivia Elba. In lane 3, Catherine Grumberg. In lane 4, Ariana Ivarone. In lane 5, Annie Chang. And in lane 6, Iana Meng. As mentioned in the last heat, starts and turns are important, but the finish is also pretty crucial too. Touching out your opponent, you'll hear the term touch out used a lot in the 50 free because it's such a quick race. And girls often finish neck and neck. So one way to edge out your opponent is a long and strong finish. And we saw that happen right now. Lane 6 finished first with a time of 31:68. A near touch out to her opponent in lane 3. And we're going into the 4th and final heat of the girls 50-yard freestyle. This is another all Brookline heat. Swimming in lane 1, Marina Sendi. In lane 2, Linda Oster. In lane 3, Darcy Perry. Lane 4, Tatiana Subpeva. In lane 5, Ida Mallory. And in lane 6, Michaela Osher. Looks like lane 3 will finish strong with a time of 32:21. That's Darcy Perry. Up next, diving. So before we go into the second half of the meet, we're doing a little Brookline tradition, which is the Senior Roses, where Brookline presents roses to seniors of the opponent team at their last home meet.
Okay, so it's our senior meet, and it's tradition at Brookline High to also acknowledge the seniors from Dedham High. So I called in a favor, and I brought in last year's captain, Captain Dillon, to hand out some roses. So, Christina. After like 8 years, I get to say goodbye to this person, Captain Jennifer Muccio. I'd also like to acknowledge the coaching staff, Ms. Bass and Kathy Wiggett. Congratulations, girls.
And we're back in the second half, kicking things off with the girls 100 butterfly. In lane 1 for Brookline, we have Audrey Stitt. In lane 2 for Dedham is Asia Vo. In lane 3, Valentina Rojas. In lane 4, Mike Sulinski. And in lane 5 for Brookline, Courtney Carroll. Butterfly, the 100 fly, 4 laps. Arguably one of the tougher strokes, requires both strength and rhythm. Key with butterfly is a strong hip roll and really using the core abdominal muscles to propel the body forward, keep that rhythm going as you pull yourself through the water. Going into the final lap, it's Mike Sulinski in lane 4, followed up his teammate in lane 2. That's Asia Vo. Brookline swimmer in lane 3, Valentina Rojas. Mike Zielinski will finish first in lane 4 with a time of 1:06.98. Followed up by his teammate finishing second in lane 2. Going into heat 1 of the 100 freestyle. That's 4 laps of freestyle. Swimming in lane 1 for Brookline, that's Maya Bielak. In lane 2 for Dedham, we have Elizabeth Dillon. In lane 3, that's Daniela Cruz. In lane 4, Elizabeth Doherty. In lane 5, Thea Charles Moon. And in lane 6, Jacob Putnam. This is another one of those fast and furious races. It looks like lane 3 has pulled ahead of the crowd. It's Daniela Cruz. A lot like the 50, this race focuses on obviously a quick, hard stroke, but also fast turns, strong finish. Lane 3 well out ahead of the pack by a couple body lengths, but lanes 1, 4, and 5 are neck and neck. Finishing with first in lane 3 with a time of 58.51. That's Daniela Cruz. Touching second, her teammate in lane 5. That's Thea Charles Moon. And that time of 58.51 falls under the state qualifying time of a 58.99. And we're going into heat 2 of the 100 freestyle. This is an all Brookline heat. Swimming in lane 1, that's Gilladini. In lane 3, Michaela Swartz. And in lane 5, Camille White. Up next, we're going to be swimming the 500 free, and one difference that you'll notice between the 100 and 500 is our swimmers in the 100 are sprinting. There's a lot of kicking. You'll see a lot of white water behind. The 500 is a long distance race that will focus a lot more on stroke efficiency, and pacing. Going into the final lap of this race, lane 3 is going to be touching first from Brookline, and that's Michaela Swartz. She will touch with a time of 1:04.33. This is the girls 500 freestyle. That's 20 laps freestyle. Swimming in lane 1 for Brookline, that's Julia Terry. In lane 2 for Dedham, that's Rachel Kana. In lane 3 for Brookline, Emily Bivens. In lane 4 for Dedham, Jennifer Guccione. In lane 5 for Brookline, we have Emily Lasanti. And in lane 6 for Dedham, Maddie Brown. Just to give you a quick update of where things stand after the first half of our meet, we have a preliminary score, Brookline 42, Dedham 28. Our divers, finishing first for Brookline was Myra Johnson with a score of 159.40. Finishing second for Brookline, Alua Nguyen with a score of 129.20. Third went to Lily Harris with a score of 105.65. And fourth, Nicola Kinlay with a score of 80.4. We just finished up the first 100 of the girls 500 freestyle. And out in the lead, we have Brookline teammates, lane 3 and 5. It's the Emilys, Emily Bivens in lane 3 and Emily Lasanti in lane 5. You'll see at the end of the lane, these girls have counters to help them keep track. But more than that, their counters will sometimes offer them some advice on their race. They can keep track of their splits and let them know they need to be speeding up or slowing down or keeping their pace. Sometimes they'll wave the number around. Sometimes they'll just do an encouragement of their teammates. One key to this race, however, is to really understand your body and your pace. Like we talked about with the 200 freestyle, one thing swimmers try to do is negative splitting, meaning they go a little bit faster in the second half of the race than in the first half. And going into the second half, both swimmers in lanes 3 and 5 are around the 2:15 mark. They continue that pace. That will put them at a pretty decent time of about 5.5 minutes, which, to put into some context for you, the state qualifying time for this race It's 5:51, so even if they keep that pace, they'll be well under the state minimum. Okay. Lanes 3 and 5 still going strong. Got a little more than half finished with their race. You'll notice swimming style is a little bit different in a 500 free versus a 50 or 100. You'll see a little bit longer of a stroke. And you'll also notice a lot more body rotation. A lot of the power from swim comes from the core muscles, the center part of the body, and a body rotation that helps to keep the arms moving, gliding efficiently through the water. You'll notice a little bit longer strokes, and that's where that body rotation really comes in, is to reach out and be able to pull a decent amount of water. Kicking in swimming is actually one of the most tiring aspects of the stroke, so having an efficient pull and, more importantly, an efficient flip turn is where swimmers will do well. And a piece of advice coaches will often tell their swimmers is that fastest time you're in the water is when you're pushing off that wall off of your flip turn. So we're working on the last 100 for those swimmers in the lead in lanes 3 and 5. After this lap, they'll be going into their final 50 of the 500 freestyle. And out in the lead, that's Emily Bivens in lane 3. That whistle you heard is to let her and the other swimmers know that she has 55 yards to go, just in case she didn't know from her counter. Sometimes you'll see in races, they'll actually ring a bell over the lane. That swimmer will know they're in the lead. In a race like this, you sometimes lose track of the pack. Making a strong push to the end. It's lanes 3 and 5. Lane 5 really putting on the heat, coming up behind her teammate. But that will be lane 3 touching first. That's Emily Bivens. She had a time of 5:52.12. Her teammate finished second in lane 5, time 5:53.58, not far off from her teammate. A few of our other swimmers finishing out. That's lane 1 from Brookline. Julia Terry, she'll finish with a time of 6:31.79. Coming up next, we're going to be seeing the girls 200 freestyle relay. That is a fast and furious 4-leg relay, 2 laps of freestyle apiece. So going into the freestyle relay, I'm going to start giving you some of our swimmers' names because there's a lot of them. In lane 1, we're going to have from Brookline, Annie Chang, Catherine Brumberg, Darcy Perry, Liana Meng. In lane 2, from the Dedham team, Allie Johnson, Lydia Baker, Casey Barron, Christina Palioglo. In lane 3, from Brookline, Daniela Cruz, Yudi Liu, Sarah Gladstone, and Emily Lasanti. In lane 4, for Dedham, you're going to be seeing Roisin Glynn, Danielle Lech, Jennifer Guccione, Elizabeth Doherty. And in lane 5 for Brookline will be Fiona Burns, Sonia Bond, Michaela Swartz, and Thea Charles Moon. The relays are scored a little bit differently. There's a little bit more points at stake with these races. And something to keep an eye out for, the Dedham team, they're looking to qualify, get a qualifying time of 1:56 or faster, and that time will qualify them for the South 2013 South Girls and Boys Champions. A time of 1:54 will qualify them for the state championships. Going to the start. Alrighty, we've got lanes 3, 4, and 5 pulling out. Lane 4 with a slight edge. Again, with these 50 freestyles, turns are key, but more importantly is that pass off, the handoff between swimmer to swimmer. It's important to time it as quickly as possible, but not to jump in too early. If you jump in before your teammate actually touches the wall, your team will be disqualified. So it's a little bit depth perception judgment. And it takes a little practice and knowing your teammate. Got lanes 3 and 4 neck and neck going into the third leg. Looks like lane 3 has a slight edge. Lane 3 will jump in first. That's Sarah Gladstone from Brookline. Going into the last leg, they call that the anchor leg. Brookline swimmer jumping in first to that anchor leg of the 200 freestyle relay. It's Emily Lasanti. We just saw her swim the 500 free. Lane 4 catching up just a little bit. Emily's holding her lead. And she will touch first. But they time of 1:52.09. Lane 4 touched second with a time of 1:54.61. And that time will put them under the qualifying time they were hoped to get. So congratulations to Dedham for reaching that milestone. At 1:54.61, just over the qualifying time for states, however. They needed a 1:54 even to make that. All right, we're gonna have a second heat of the 200 free relay coming up next. And in this heat, we're gonna be featuring some of our divers as well. We'll be jumping in for some freestyle. So in lane 1, we're going to be seeing Marina Sendi, Camille White, Linda Oster, Michaela Oster. In lane 2, that's our divers. We have Lily Harris, Myra Johnson, Alua Nguyen, and Nicola Kinlay. In lane 3 from Brookline, we have Emma Bowe, Maddie Emmer, Olivia Elba, and Antonella Kugler. And in lane 5, Anna Aristikova, Anna Yavaron, Tatiana Sapeva, and Aiden Mallory. This is an all Brookline heat. And it looks like our Brookline team, lane 5, out in the lead in their second leg. Some little friendly competition coming up in lane 3 by their teammate. Going into our final lap of this race, lane 3 has pulled slightly ahead of their teammates. They are now in the lead. Finishing out that race will be Antonella Kugler, touching first. Her relay has earned a time of 2:16.46. Up next, we have the girls 100 backstroke. The girls will be starting from in the water. This is heat 1. In lane 1 for Brookline, Fiona Burns. In lane 2 for Dedham, Danielle Lech. In lane 3, Yudi Liu. Lane 4, Roisin Glynn. And in lane 5, Danielle Cruz. You'll notice that some of the swimmers spend a considerable amount of time under the water. The start is a great time to get strong push, momentum. If you look closely on the lanes, you'll actually see red markers. Those markers indicate the furthest point out that a swimmer can go under the water. If they surpass that point under the water, they would be disqualified. Pulling out front, lane 3 for Brookline, that's Yudi Liu. Lane 4, Roisin Glynn, she's looking for a qualifying time of 1:09. We're gonna keep an eye out for that. You'll also notice the flags at the pool indicate to the swimmers when they're approaching the wall. They use an arm count to determine when to flip over and maximize their flip turn on the wall. They're allowed to flip onto their stomach in order to form that flip turn, but again, there is a time limit on how long they can do that. Finishing first in lane 3, that's Brookline swimmer Yudi Liu with a time of 1:08.66. This is heat 2 of the 100 backstroke. This is an all Brookline heat. Swimming in lane 1, it's Michelle Coe. In lane 3, Elena Cisneros. And in lane 5, Camille White. Probably heard me talking a little bit about backstroke in our IM and medley relay, or medley relay in our individual medley. One of the keys to backstroke is really gliding on top of the water. and having a good body rotation. You'll see a lot of times head position is very important in this race. Swimmers keep their chin back. It helps to elevate the hips and help them glide over that water so they fight less resistance. Rotation is also important. It helps to have a smooth and efficient pull. You'll see lane 3, very smooth flip turn off the wall. There's a lot of timing involved in that flip turn, as with most, but backstroke more so than the other races. Requires a lot of attention to timing and rhythm. And that will be touching first in lane 3 from Brookline, Elena Cisneros, with a time of 1:20.61. This is heat 1 of the girls' 100-yard breaststroke. Swimming in lane 1 for Brookline, that's Madeline Emmerich. In lane 2 for Dedham, Rachel Barkowitz. In lane 3 for Brookline, Sarah Gladstone. In lane 4 for Dedham, Asia Vo. In lane 5, Brookline's Anna Aristakova. And in lane 6 for Dedham, Elizabeth Dillon. That leader out there, lane 4, Dedham's Asia Vo. You know, it's the long, smooth strokes. We're talking about timing a little bit in the backstroke, but timing is also key in breaststroke. 3 main components of the stroke is a pull, a kick, and a glide. You'll see that when the swimmers push off the wall, they get to do something called a pull down, which is a pull, kick, and glide underwater before taking their first breath. They're only allowed 1 of these. Otherwise, you have to take a breath on every stroke. And with a strong finish in lane 4, that's Asia Vo from Dedham. She finishes with a time of 1:14.33. This is the second heat of the girls' 100 breaststroke. All Brookline heat. In lane 1, Giladini. Lane 3, Tatiana Cepeda. And in lane 5, Antonella Kugler. We're talking a little bit about the stroke in our last heat. One thing you'll notice when swimming this stroke is you sometimes get a little bit of a hip roll. Some swimmers it's more pronounced than others, but you'll even see a tiny little butterfly kick in that pull down. You could see it in lane 5. As she pulled down the water, she used just a little bit of a wiggle there, get a little bit more of her push off the wall. Breaststrokers benefit greatly from strong flip turns. Because they're able to spend that time underwater, they want to maximize how much distance they can get out of their pull down before they have to come above water. A lot of times in swimming, when you push off the wall, you'll want to have a really tight streamline. Streamline is when you hold your hand over hand, almost like you're an arrow darting through the water. Creates the least water resistant position that your body can be in. Finishing out this heat, we've got lane 5 out there in the lead. That's Antonella Kugler. She will finish first with a time of 1:30.56. the 400-yard freestyle relay. This is our final event of the day. It's 4 girls swimming 4 laps of freestyle each. In lane 1 for Brookline, it's Elena Cisneros, Michelle Coe, Julia Terry, Catherine Brumberg. In lane 2 for Dedham, Rachel Kana, Maddie Brown, Maddie Curran, Elizabeth Dillon. In lane 3, Emily Lasanti, Valentina Rojas, Michaela Swartz, Thea Charles Moon. In lane 4 for Dedham, Danielle Lech, Rachel Barkowitz, Asia Vo, Michael Sulinsky. And in lane 5 for Brookline, Emily Bivens, Audrey Stitt, Maya Bicklek, and Courtney Carroll. 2 Brookline teams in lanes 3 and 5 pulling out in this first leg. Remember, we've got 4 laps for each swimmer. There's sometimes a little bit of strategy that goes into both this race and the 200 freestyle race. Some coaches like to split their stronger swimmers between the first and last leg. Sometimes they mix them up. There's a little bit more of a mental aspect to a longer relay race like this. When you are thinking about your lineup, you have to decide who does well under pressure being out front, who gets motivated well coming up from behind, who's a strong anchor, who has a great start. In relays, you always have to think about who has the fastest reaction time and can get the quick start, get that mental and physical edge in the pool over their teammates. But even in a longer relay like this, you'll sometimes see some really close and fantastic finishes. Out in the lead, lane 3, that's the Brookline team. Right now you're seeing Michelle Coe going into her final lap. See her teammate winding up for the pass off. Sometimes swimmers will do a little bit of a roundup start, swinging their arms around, give it a little momentum jumping off the block. This is the only time you can do a start like that. In any other race, you have to start in a still position. You probably saw at the beginning of the race. Swimmer fell in. But she was given the opportunity to do the start over again with no penalty to her team. We are going into our final leg in lane 3 for Brookline. That's Thea Charles Moon. She's got about a half a pole length lead against her teammates in lane 5. It looks like she'll be able to carry most of that lead. Going to the final 50, that's Thea Charles Moon in lane 3 for Brookline. Keeping her lead over lane 5. Lane 4, a little bit behind lane 5. Strong finish going into the wall. Lane 3 will touch first with a time of 4:11:15. And that concludes tonight's broadcast of Girls Varsity Swimming, Brookline versus Dedham. Final score was Brookline 99, Dedham 76. I hope you enjoyed tonight's senior festivities. And for Brookline Access Television, this is Andrea Calso.
So, tradition in Brookline at the end of the dual meet season, our home meet, we like to honor our home. Kim, she was with most of them for 4 years. Myself, I was with them for 3. It's been a fun ride, especially this senior ride. Being able to experience with you girls has been a pleasure. It's been a lot of fun. For the new girls, this is something you're going to really treasure. It's one of the things that really wants to keep you on this team is the juniors give speeches of their experience coming in as freshmen and meeting these ladies as sophomores and growing a bond over the next 3 years with the ladies, similar to what I did for the past 3 years. So when they're presenting, I'd like you guys just to be quiet, give the seniors the respect they deserve, and give the juniors the time to talk, okay? All right.
So, Audrey and I are going to start. Dear Maya. Dear Maya. Okay. As some of you know, this is my first year on the swim team, and so I didn't really have time to make like a really strong relationship with any of the seniors. However, there's one senior I really want to thank. It's Maya. Yeah, that's what I was like. Anyways, I mean, all of you guys are amazing, but I was constantly amazed by the level of commitment that Maya has to the swim team and to the idea of the team. She's always positive, encouraging, and eager to get to that goal. She gets here early and immediately starts setting up. And after the meets, she's one of the first to take charge of the lead. She cheers us on like it's nobody's business, and often she cheers to the point where she loses her voice. I appreciate this so much, especially when I'm swimming and running out there.
I remember trying to cheer as much as Maya at the Braintree meet. The next day I could talk and she couldn't. Your spirit to the team is remarkable, and I've been encouraged by this commitment to try to support as much as you do. But that isn't all you're good for. You've been a great friend and teammate to me whenever I need it. When I get behind the blocks for 200 free relay with you, I am nervous beyond what you could probably imagine. But although you may not notice my anxiety, your kind words about the upcoming race always help calm my nerves and prepare me for the race. But even my hardest isn't as impressive as your parts in the relays. I haven't seen anybody gain yardage on you or pass you in these relays because of your determination to give it all you have.
So Maya is an embodiment of the idea of the team spirit, and especially in a sport like swimming, team and sportsmanship are so important. It defines our failures and successes. Even if we lose, as long as we have a positive attitude and sportsmanship, that Maya embodies, we have won at the game of life. Audrey says this is super cheesy, but I mean, what else are we cheesy? We have understood the importance of being able to get through whatever failures we face. You have inspired me and others as well. So I thank you, Maya, for your unwavering dedication to upholding the team spirits and to cheering me on when I'm on the third 50 and 200 yards.
First, I just want to say how glad I am. Gil. First, I just want to say how glad I am that we're able to meet this year. The science seats have never been my favorite thing in class, but we had a blast on the bus, and I'm so glad. You are such an incredibly hard worker, and have improved so much this season. Even as a diver, I can see it. You're funny, beautiful, and so friendly. You made having a conversation through the entirety of the bus ride easy and fun, so enjoyable. You're so dedicated on this team and are always out there cheering, which can be hard sometimes, keeping positive all the time. But somehow you managed to do it. I'm so happy I met you this year, and I wish you the best next year wherever you may be.
And I too have gotten to know you so much better this year. Your
sweet personality never fails to put a smile on mine and everyone else's face. Your bright yellow Crocs are to die for. Oh, wait, are you mine? I've learned that you never put your long, luscious hair in a ponytail and you love sleeping. Also, you are so fun to be around and amazingly dedicated to the team. You are so beautiful inside and out, and you are amazingly fast at breaststroke. At meets, you are always cheering for others and swimming incredibly fast. I will never forget the time when we sat on the bus together and you taught me this. And I can definitely say that you will be missed by everyone on the team next year. Good luck in college and come back to visit. Love you, Gil. Okay. So my speech is to Daniela, and I'm gonna start with this quote that I found and reminds me of her. You know the smell of chlorine in the morning. The earth is 75% water, but you only need one lane to kick butt. Start hard, turn smart, and finish fast. So Daniela, I've known you for a while since we were both Wisteria, but we didn't really talk, and I really wish we had. Right from the start, I knew you were an amazing swimmer, but I'm so happy that I've gotten to know you better, to know that you're also an amazing person. You are so dedicated, hardworking, funny, nice, fast, and beautiful, and you are a role model to a lot of us in the team. Your backstroke is fast and awesome, your positive attitude is contagious, and we all love how supportive you are. I cannot imagine this year without you. The first half of the season, I was in your lane, and I was terrified. You were so fast, and I could not do 100 without worrying that you were already going to lap me. I would stop, and if I felt something in my feet, I would turn around, I would see this white cap coming after me with bubbles around it. I'm like, here comes the elegant. You are such a talented person, and don't ever forget that case we won, especially me. Even though I wish you would have joined sooner, these couple of months have been enough to let me know that I will really miss you, and I will never forget you. Please don't forget about us, because we love you, especially me. I hope you always know how unique and special you are, and never take yourself for granted, because I'm not. Lots of love, Alana. Here. Even though we went to Lincoln together, I never knew you before this year, and I'm so glad that I got to meet you. You put up with my singing and interesting pep talks through the season, and have improved so much. I'm so incredibly proud of you for all that you've been able to accomplish. You have such a strong drive and determination when you want to get something done, and that'll really take you places. I hope you enjoyed your season on the team with us, and I'm sure that we will keep in touch through the year, and after when you are wherever you may be, I have no doubt that your motivation and $100 smile will make you go far. Love you lots. Don't give up. Learning synchronized swimming was tons of fun,
Your care and dedication is equally as impressive. The commitment you put into practices and the commitment you show to the girls on this team is incredible. I aspire to work as hard as uncomplaining as you do. I cannot and refuse to imagine next year without you for support and as my friend during the meets. Who am I going to sing the catchy tunes we do in perfect pitch with? Who am I going to try to pace in the pool during practice with? So if you don't know that, I try to pace with you. Who will be the team's Disney and Harry Potter nerd? I mean, I'm sure we'll find somebody for each of these things, but they aren't ever going to replace you or your lasting impression on me. I love you, Michaela Schwartz. Thank you for welcoming me onto the team when I was a weak frosh and becoming one of my closest friends on this team and out of it. I love you so much.
So we're really thankful that you have coached us, well, me and everyone, yeah, for this year, and we are really grateful, and we want you to know